Let me read you a statement that you can find in my terms of use in my software and training programs under the generally expected results. It reads, "We both know that just because Jerry Norton tested some cool techniques and strategies and made a bunch of money doesn't mean or imply that the same will happen to you or anybody else." Jerry's been doing this full-time for 20 years now, and it took a lot of very, very hard work to get to where he is today. There is no product, webinar, seminar, guru, coaching program, or potion, or anything else that will make you successful. You have to work like a psychotic animal, relentlessly reaching for your goals. The only guarantee you can count on is this: you might experience hardship, you might experience failure, you might experience disappointment. It is in the moments that you get up, brush yourself off, and climb back in the ring to continue fighting that you will find success. The good news is, with our team and system, you already have way more than when Jerry Norton had when he got started. You can do this. Now, that's either terrible for business or maybe it's brilliant, I'm not sure, but at least it's honest. Now, if you're new to wholesaling, my name is Jerry Norton. I've been wholesaling houses full-time for over 20 years. I've been providing education on how to wholesale for over 15 years. I'm like a dinosaur in the industry, and I've made millions of dollars wholesaling real estate and continue to make a lot of money. But the reality is, most don't. Most come into the business, they drink the Kool-Aid that they're going to make a ton of money, and then most struggle, and most fail, and most quit. You see, there's an ugly truth about wholesaling that no one wants to talk about. In fact, there are 5 ugly truths about wholesaling that I've identified. So on this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and give you the facts. No fluff, no hype, just the ugly truth. And then if you still want to wholesale, at least you'll have your eyes wide open. And for some of you, those that can live with these 5 ugly truths, maybe, just maybe, you'll go on to be a successful wholesaler. Maybe. The first ugly truth is that wholesaling is not a side hustle. I don't care what anybody tells you. I've yet to meet someone good at wholesaling who has a day job or another business and wholesales on the side. Now, let me make a distinction between a wholesale transaction and a wholesale business or operation. Transacting a wholesale deal is not complicated, it's not time-consuming, or very difficult. It's a pretty simple concept. Get a contract on a distressed property at a discount, and then flip that contract to someone else for a profit. The mechanics of wholesaling is not rocket science. I think we use like 3rd grade math to wholesale houses. But a sustainable, profitable wholesale business, that is serious stuff, and not for the faint of heart. That is going to take your heart and soul. You know, with normal W-2 people who wake up, go to work, punch in, work 8 hours, punch out, then go home and relax to Netflix while eating Ben & Jerry's ice cream, I joke with them. I say to them, why work 8 hours for someone else when you can work 15 hours for yourself? That's entrepreneurship, and that's wholesaling, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Now, if you're not willing to make huge sacrifices, especially in your free time, wholesaling isn't for you. And don't get me wrong, you can start wholesaling on the side. Yes, that's what I did my first year. But a wholesale business is going to require blood, sweat, and tears. And if you're not up for that, don't bother starting, because you'll just be frustrated and disappointed and ultimately throw in the towel. In my first year wholesaling, I did a handful of deals part-time while working a full-time job. It was brutal. I side hustled nights and weekends until I had, I think, $25,000 saved up from deals. Then I quit my job and I went full-time, and I haven't looked back since. So I'm going to give you the same advice I gave my daughter-in-law. She said to me one day, I just don't want to have to think about money. I said, then you won't have any. I said to her, you have to think about money constantly if you want a better life. When you finish your day job from 9 to 5, you start your side hustle from 6 to midnight. When you're driving to work, you're thinking about your business. When you're lying in bed at night, you're thinking about your business. It's the only way for your side hustle to eventually become your full hustle. It won't always be that way, but it will for a season. Sacrifice today like most people won't, so you can live later like most people can't. Okay, ugly truth number 2 is that wholesaling influencers and educators are mostly liars, or at best misleading. Don't listen to anyone who says wholesaling is easy, that you can make a ton of money with little to no effort or time. It's just smoke and mirrors. Headlines that say, make $100,000 in 30 days, or get your first deal today, are what we call hooks. to get you to click or watch. They are marketing ploys, and I use them all the time too because they work, and that's what good marketers do. They grab your attention and draw you in. Now, an honest influencer will ethically bait and switch you. They will bait you with good headlines and good copy and good marketing, and then once they have your attention, they'll tell you the honest truth, and then if they have something to sell you, it will be a viable product or service that gives value to you. But you have to be careful. There are a lot of scammers in wholesale real estate. Beware of posts on wholesale Facebook groups that say something like, "I just made $100,000, ask me how." Those are scammers who prey on the naive and vulnerable. If you are drawn to wholesaling from an influencer or so-called expert under the guise that it's get rich quick in any way, shape, or form, you are being naive and foolish, or both. Now, is there good training tools and coaching? Absolutely. But none of it will do the work for you. It will only provide an edge or a shortcut to your success. That's it. Now, I would include a part 2 ugly truth that is similar, and that is that others' results do not equal your results. That's why in my terms of use, I say just because I've been successful doesn't mean you will. It's very easy to look at someone like me or any other and think, well, if he did it, I can do it. That's not actually true. You see, I'm a fighter. I'm relentless. Wholesaling is a high contact sport, and I've been in the game for a long time, and I show up to play full out. It doesn't matter how many times I get knocked down, I get back up. I'm not the most gifted or talented, but I am the most resilient. The worst thing you can do is ask me or someone else how long it took to get your first deal, as if what I do or someone else does has anything whatsoever to do with you. For example, when I was 19 years old, I did a 2-year proselyting church mission in South America. For 2 years, every day I knocked doors, and I talked to complete strangers about Jesus and religion. When I started wholesaling years later, talking to agents and sellers was easy and natural for me. My point is, stop comparing yourself to others. Everyone brings a different set of circumstances, talents, gifts, backgrounds, education, and so on. Instead, buckle in, commit to the process, and don't give up until you reach your goals. Now, one of my favorite types of videos to create on my YouTube channel are interviews with successful students. I have dozens of videos where you can learn how someone did their first deal or build a successful business. I recently interviewed one of my business partners, Mark Gabriel, about how we do $1 million a year wholesaling just in Tulsa, Oklahoma. From the outside looking in, Mark makes it look easy, but the reality is he works his ass off. If the phone rings and a seller calls at 9 p.m. at night, he answers the phone, and he's been at it relentlessly for years. Okay, ugly truth number 3 is wholesaling is inconsistent. It's a roller coaster. It's up and it's down. Wholesalers live and die by the 30-day calendar. Some months are amazing and exciting and you make a lot of money, and other months are frustrating and demoralizing and you don't make money, or heaven forbid, you lose money. Most people can't handle the inconsistency. I have a wholesaler friend from Detroit who got started way back when I did. A few years ago, I bumped into him and I asked how it was going. He told me he stopped wholesaling and went back to his W-2 job. He said, even though I was taking home $200,000 a year from wholesaling, I went back to my $80,000 a year job because I couldn't handle the up and down months, and at least now I have a steady paycheck. Now, I was shocked. He was willing to go from $200,000 to $80,000 just to not have to deal with the stress of inconsistent revenue. Now, if you can't handle feast or famine, then wholesaling isn't for you. And that takes me to ugly truth number 4 about wholesaling, and that is that wholesaling is high drama. Wholesaling is high stress. And that's because wholesaling is a high urgency business. Every day it's go, go, go. You race the clock with lead gen and marketing. You're always in a hurry with contract deadlines and closings. There's a saying we use in wholesale real estate: time kills all deals. It's every day, fast paced, and because wholesaling is transactional, you only make money when you turn deals. So the more deals you turn and the faster you turn them, the more money you make. Some days it feels like a dog chasing your own tail. And because wholesaling is distressed real estate, there are always fires to put out. Most sellers are facing hardship and often have emotional challenges. Cash buyers are demanding and can be difficult to work with. It's common for there to be title issues or unforeseen problems like back taxes or additional liens that you didn't anticipate. Wholesaling is about dealing with problems every single day and providing solutions every single day. That's what we do. We get paid to solve problems. I tell my students all the time, expect the best, prepare for the worst. There's nothing chill about wholesaling. It's a hustle sport, and you better thrive in that environment. And ugly truth number 5 is wholesaling is a high risk, high overhead business. I know very few wholesalers who produce $1 million or more in annual revenue that don't spend a lot of money every month in tools, software, commission salespeople, W-2 employees, and even if you're a small operation, you will be spending a lot of money every month on marketing for distressed seller leads. Now, it is true that wholesaling is a low risk from a real estate investment perspective because you don't own the properties, you aren't taking on liability like a flipper or like a buy and hold investor. But make no mistake, it takes money to run a successful wholesale operation. You better understand marketing, especially cost per lead and cost per contract. You better understand leadership and how to attract, train, and manage a team. Yes, you can get started with no money. And yes, there are ways to find deals for free. I teach those strategies ad nauseum on my YouTube channel. But at some point, when you transition from a side hustle to a full-time business, you will have to invest a lot of cash back into the business in order to grow and scale. You will need to invest in yourself and coaching and mentoring so that you grow into the shoes of a successful entrepreneur, just like any other business. If you want to work closely with me, go to fasttrackwithjerry.com to apply. But you're going to have to show up. There's no shortcut to success in wholesale real estate. Now, there's one more ugly truth that you need to know about. Call it bonus ugly truth number 6. And that is that everyone is gunning for wholesalers. In recent years, there's a pervasive narrative that's taken root that distressed sellers are a protected class of sorts, and that wholesalers steal equity and harm sellers. You will hear this idea from real estate agents and other non-wholesalers in the real estate community. While this is both misinformation and misunderstanding of what we do and how we actually help sellers, you will have to be prepared to deal with it. In the past 5 or 6 years, there have been laws passed in certain states regulating the practice of wholesaling, and there will continue to be more regulation coming. If you are unwilling to learn and follow these laws and transact with full transparency, wholesaling is not for you. Transacting discounted real estate will always be a thing. How we transact has an uncertain future. If you're not willing to pivot and adapt, wholesaling is not for you. So now that you have the hard, cold facts, are you in or are you out? Leave a comment and let me know. Obviously, I still believe wholesaling is the greatest business on the planet, and I believe if you fully embrace these 6 ugly truths about wholesaling, and with a little bit of luck, you might have what it takes to thrive and excel at wholesaling. The rest of it can be learned. The rest is easy in my opinion. So if you're still excited about wholesaling after watching this video, leave a comment and say, "Thank you, Jerry, for keeping it real and being honest about what it takes to win at wholesaling. You are a flipping genius." Now, if that's you, listen, I know it can be overwhelming when you get started. I have thousands of wholesale videos here on my channel about every topic imaginable, and you may be wondering, how do I get started? How do I get my first deal? What do I do after that? And that's why I created a masterclass video training series with each step from start to finish. It's about 3.5 hours total over 5 videos, and it will give you a really thorough understanding and exact steps on how to start and scale a $1 million wholesale business. Now, if you're serious about wholesaling, you need to watch that series. I'll put the playlist link right there. Watch that now, and I'll see you on the next video.